risking head and skin if we're behind.
Tiger fans, it's time for another draftee to make their debut in 2025. Liam Fawcett is going to get his first crack at AFL level, who was pick 43 in the 2023 National Draft. 197 centimetre key forward. He's a big unit, but when he made his way to the club in 2023, he actually got hit with glandular fever a couple of days after arriving, and also had a back injury that he was managing throughout the season as well. So he's 2024, his first year at the club was almost a complete write-off due to those circumstances. He did manage to wrangle together a couple of games at the end of the VFL season, but it's been all about this pre-season for him and the way he come back to the club, the shape he was in, the way he trains, the impression he leaves on the training track, and obviously his pre-season match sim work as well has been really impressive too. And I know these opportunities come around due to a little bit of circumstance with Tom Lynch missing a week, but Liam Fawcett was actually one that Grok in particular identified very early in our pre-season shows, saying that he wouldn't be surprised if he got a crack really early on in the season, just based on what he was hearing around the club and how impressed they were with his work rate and his contested marking ability and things like that. And now that's come to life. So it's a tick for Grok in his call from way back when. Well done. So Fawcett played in the VFL last week against Carlton and actually kicked 3 goals in the practice game, including a ridiculous 45-metre out check side goal that he had absolutely no right to have a try at kicking on the run, mind you. This wasn't a set shot. This was just in general play, but he slotted the goal nonetheless. So he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He's not too bad at ground level. He's reasonably nimble. And again, similar to Lynch, likes to crash packs, and similar to Harry Armstrong as well, should I say, which is really important. And I think this is why he's been selected ahead of Samson Ryan, for example. So Samson Ryan is probably going to be a better option for us from a ruck perspective if we need a genuine second ruck. But from a forward craft perspective, I actually think that Liam Fawcett's going to offer a little bit more from a competitive standpoint. He's a fierce aerial competitor. It was one of the traits that a lot of clubs were drawn to in his draft year. So if I look at his bio from the AFL Central Rookie Me website from his draft year, strengths, marking, mobility, scoreboard impact and strength, and improvements was consistency and conversion. They made note that he's a strong marking key forward at a Central District. He was earmarked as a potential early draft prospect after an impressive bottom age campaign. And in his actual draft year, I think he had 32 goals in 16 games, which was a really, really good return. But the biggest draw card for him was his capacity to get a hold of opponents aerially on the lead, and by making him pay on the scoreboard. Could be a little bit hit and miss, but obviously he's had a year or so in the system to improve on the goal-kicking side of things. But from a contest perspective, especially in a game like this against Port Adelaide, who have a defender like Aussierulesfootball, for example, who's very, very good at intercept marking, the main focus of our forwards, and this is why Harry Armstrong has ticked a lot of boxes for me anyway in his first game, is even though they're not maybe marking the ball themselves, as long as Fawcett and Armstrong to that extent can bring the ball to ground, can spoil the contest and make sure their direct opponent doesn't mark the ball themselves, that's a big win. It brings our smalls into play and it gives us a chance to reload and get another inside 50. So I'm not necessarily looking for Fawcett to take 5 or 6 marks and kick 4 or 5 goals. I'm looking for Fawcett to compete really hard in the air and making sure that he's got body-on-body contact with his defender, no easy intercept marks for his opponent, and just to cause a few headaches. And look, it's going to be a really young forward line that we've got this week, led by Fawcett, Armstrong and Bauer, who wouldn't have played any more than 25 games between them, maybe even less, as it all comes down to how many Bauer's played, to be honest. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this works, but I'm super pumped for him. It was a great video on the club website of Uze breaking the news. So yeah, up the tap. Hopefully he gets a good run at it, and we can see some good signs from him on the weekend. The other thing I want to make note of as well is it's obviously Nathan Broad's 150th game for the Richmond Football Club. A super servant, 3-time premiership player, taken at pick number 67 in the 2015 National Draft. And it's obviously been well documented now that he's knocked back a really big offer from North Melbourne, which we mentioned earlier on in the year. Look, he could have quite easily left and could have jumped ship. It would have been an easy thing to have done given the state of the list and the rebuild and things like that. He's won 3 flags. He's achieved what he could achieve. So for him to knock back that North Melbourne offer and stick it out, and the way you hear him speak about the club and his understanding of his role now in developing and growing these youngsters, it's just such a leadership, mature comment from him. And I'm so rapt that he's still at the club. He's honestly probably one of the first picked every week. He might actually be underrated externally from the Richmond Football Club. But as Tiger supporters, we all know his value, the way he competes. He can play tall, he can play small, super reliable, rarely has a bad game. And yeah, couldn't be more proud of him to play 150 games. So well done, Broady. Hopefully we can get the job done for him on the weekend. But that's the video for today. Just wanted to celebrate those two things. I thought they were very much worthy of a video. So make sure you like and subscribe for more Richmond content. We will be doing a live show for the Port Adelaide game. So make sure you drop by at about, what do we start at, 4:10, 4:15, something like that. So we'll do a live watch along of the game and maybe a fan cam as well afterwards, depending on time. So if you don't want to listen to normal commentary, feel free to check in. And hopefully we have a good game against the Power. So until the next time, go Tigers.